Hello, friends. How are you? How's things? Let me know in the comments. This is it. This is the last day of 2024. The year has ended. And while it has not been the year I expected it to be, it was a very good year in a lot of ways. And I brought some props to help demonstrate that. I had one goal this year, and I failed at that goal, and that was to publish a book. My original intent was to learn how to publish, not necessarily to write a book or to, just print somebody else's book. Didn't matter. The goal was to publish a book, just to get the idea of, learn how to go through the publishing process. I failed to do that because I started writing a book and I was working on it heavily and I liked it, and then that fell off, and then I found a new voice and I was like, oh, I really like this, and I wrote a book. I did write a book this year. I don't like it, and I'm not going to publish it anytime soon. I think with some heavy editing I probably could rework it, but I did end up writing a 30,000 word book. It's just not going to see the light of day this year. Well, obviously this year, but maybe even 2025. I don't think I'll publish it. It might, maybe someday, whatever. But that was my one goal, and I didn't achieve that goal. But that's okay. And I think that if anything, this year taught me, despite everything going on in the world, and it taught me a lot about myself and what really matters to me. And that goal of publishing a book didn't mean so much. It was something that I wanted to learn, but I have no vehicle for that. What does learning how to publish a book achieve for me? It's not like I'm a YouTuber who specializes in teaching people how to publish books, or that I am a writer of long-form fiction or whatever. It doesn't really achieve anything other than just to be another notch in the skill set of random stuff that I have. And so I'm cool with not finishing that goal. I'm very cool with it, in fact, because I achieved a lot of other things this year that were not expected, and some of those were circumstantial. For instance, as of this morning, I finished a book. That book was Nobody Knew They Were There by Ed McBain. I'm not going to review this book. It wasn't very good. But finishing this book this morning, opening my Kindle and reading this morning, is a 365-day streak of reading, specifically on the Kindle. I could argue that I read 365 days a year every year because my job involves reading code and emails and that. But this is pleasure reading every single day this year. I did it. I did that kind of unintentionally, which I'm very glad to be done with it, because I have a growing stack of probably, at this point, 15 physical books that I need to read, that people have lent me or people have bought for me that I just need to get through. But I've been putting them off because I was trying to hit this streak. Why? I don't know. Amazon sends you a little hey, you had a perfect month this month badge. I thought maybe they'd do something cool at a perfect year. They didn't. No big deal. Whatever. It was a personal thing. It wasn't really something I intended to do, but I hurt my back in January, and I ended up spending about 6 weeks on the couch, not able to do anything other than lay on the couch, do my job, and that was about it. And so I read a lot. I read a lot at the beginning of the year. I believe I ended the year at 80 books, even, on Goodreads. I think my Kindle says I read more. Oh, it's because I did read some magazines on the Kindle, which were short story magazines, Cosmic Horror Monthly, The Dark. So it counted those as titles read. So it says I've read 8 more than what my Goodreads says. Whatever, that's fine. Let's see here. Goodreads says that I read 77 books this year. I read 30 of those in the first 2.5 months. So, I read almost half of the books I read in the first 3 months of the year. That's okay. So that wasn't a goal. I wasn't planning on reading, intentionally reading fiction or whatever 365 days every day this year, but I did. And I'm glad that I did. And I'm going to continue reading as much as I can going forward. It became a goal just because at some point I realized I had this streak going. I might as well see how long I can let go. Another thing I did this year, which I was not fully intending on doing, is I kept an activity log of every day of my life for the whole year. I set it on in the beginning of January. Let's go back to January 1st, 2024, that I was going to start keeping an activity log, and we'll see how long it goes. I think that I told you guys about this after about 3 months or maybe 2.5 months or something like that. I did it for a while without telling anybody. I find that that works best for me. If I do it without saying anything, it'll get done. And so I started doing this January 1st, 2024, and I cataloged every day this year. This was a goal. The intent of this was to help me kind of keep the year in my head a little better, like to take some moments throughout the day to be methodical, to record some activities that I wanted to track. I got the inspiration from this from my friend Ignacy, the CEO of Portal Games. He put out a post last December 31st about what he had done that year. He said, I've played this many games, I've this many new games, I've read this many comic books, and I was like, man, I'd love to be able to have that as some sort of list somewhere. And there was other things I wanted to track. I wanted to track my meditation journey this year. I wanted to track my physical fitness journey this year. So I started doing that. And this isn't a bullet journal or anything. This is just me figuring this out as I went. In fact, on the day one, I didn't have like a system yet. I kind of worked it out as I went. At some point, I decided, I've been keeping track of my lunches and my dinners. Like, I've been keeping a meal track, so I started labeling those, L and D. I've been keeping track of books read, so I started putting a big B beside that. The goal was, today, I'd be doing a video where I'd say, I read this many books, and here's whatever. I played this many games, played this many video games. I have VG, I have G for games, I have WW for woodworking, I have W for writing. Like, I was trying to keep track of those kinds of things. And throughout the year, that devolved into what I have now, which is just like a short, I'm not going to show you this, I'm just going to describe it. At the top of the page, underneath the date, I have PT for I did my physical therapy. I have WA for I walked. I have BA for I played bass today. WW woodworking, that sort of stuff. I did continue to keep a reading journal or a reading log. This isn't a journal. There's not thoughts and feelings in here. Every now and then there's a thought and feeling in here. But I did keep my reading track. I would put what percentage of the book I'd read or what page I had read to that day. And when I finished it, I put a big B next to it. So I could someday go back and say, what books did I read in 2024? And I could thumb through these and find the pages that have a B on them and go, all right, well, I read this book. I read this book. This has been not what I expected it to be. I would say that in the course of this year, I have referenced these books twice, and it was just a matter of wanting to know the last time I cooked something or putting a couple of dates in reference that I didn't have pictures for. Generally, I take a decent amount of pictures, and I can keep track of things that I have done by looking at general timeline in my camera roll. So these didn't turn out to be the reference that I was hoping they could be. That being said, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep doing this. This is definitely something I'm gonna continue doing indefinitely. I find that it takes very little time out of my day to log these things, and I think that someday this could be a decent reference for me. This could be 2024. What was this? And I've started to kind of put. I said it wasn't a feelings log or whatever, but there are things in here now that I might try to catalog a little more, especially 2025. So this is still evolving. This is an evolving process. But for the most part, I mean, if we look at, say, yesterday, what did we do yesterday? I do things like I worked in Reaper on some songwriting. My dog got his nails cut. I found shingles in the yard from the storm. We had a big windstorm the night before last, and I found shingles in my yard. that weren't. That's not good. So I have to get that fixed. I had ravioli and summer sausage for lunch. I talked to the insurance people. I worked on my Oz project. I've been trying to clean up some of the code and research some other features that people have asked me for. I played Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. My oldest daughter went to work. We went to my parents to do gift exchange for the holidays. We had Papa John's for dinner because that's what I took pizza to my parents. Exchanged gifts and then came home and played Paper Mario. That's it. It's just like an activity log. It's almost like a duty log that I would keep in the military of time when something happened, whatever. It's not really. I think maybe early on I was putting in here, like I had back pain level in here at some point. I don't know when I started tracking like my back pain percentage or whatever. I went at some point. I had put check marks. I had made a table at the top of the page each day for each thing that I was doing, and then put check marks. I found that that was kind of pointless. I was better to just write the initials if I did it, and if I didn't have those initials, I didn't do it. But I think I was keeping back pain in here at some point. Maybe that wasn't in. Yeah, back pain 2 out of 10. I'm keeping a work log. This is, I mean, just like it's just like a little logbook. I think it's interesting, and like I said, I'm going to keep doing this. Another thing that I did this year that I was not expecting to do was started playing bass, and I could probably go through here and tell you how many days, what percentage of days I played bass during the time that I've been playing bass. I could tell you a whole lot of things from this that I don't know I'll ever do that, but bass playing started happening in May. We went to Colorado in April. Could not shake the feeling of wanting to play music. Came back, bought a bass. Been playing bass pretty much every day since. Here's what I've learned this year. I do these things. This thing and this thing I did every single day this year. I have proof of that right here in my hands. Other things, like playing bass, I don't do it every day. And I'm perfectly okay with that. In the past, I have found as hobbies come and go that when I take a break on a hobby, I tend to never go back to it. I have not found that with bass. I have been able to take week-long breaks. Like, I'm not going to play, I just haven't picked it up this week, but I'll get the urge and I'll pick it up and I'll play it. And then I'm playing it every day again, and I'm taking a course or whatever. I'm taking a course right now. Another example I just had in my head that I did this year was... bass playing was for sure one of those. I don't remember. There was something else that I did in fits and starts this year, and I found that it's fine. Like, I can do that. I've never been able to do that before. I've never been able to pick up a hobby that I let go of. And I'm happy with that because it's always been something that bothered me. I'm hoping that someday bass is a little bit more than just a hobby, not necessarily a job, but something that I can do as a cool little gig every now and then, like go away, play some shows, whatever. I hope that to be a part of the process, but if it's not, I'm actually very, very happy just playing on my couch and playing with my kid or whatever. So bass playing became something that I became really excited with this year. Meditation, I used to tell people I meditate every day. I don't. I know that now, for sure. I meditated a lot this year, and there were streaks where months of meditating every day would happen. But I would say I meditate more days than I don't. Maybe that means it's a 51-50. I don't know. Like, I could figure it out. Again, we could go through here and look. But the important thing that I learned this year is that it's okay to take your time. It's okay to be bad at something and still enjoy it. And it's okay to let go of things that aren't important so that you can embrace things that are important. And I think that's valuable lessons going forward. So, saying goodbye to 20... Oh, I also kept track of how many days I drink, which is rare, but I do have that in here as well. In case the doctor ever asks, I could give stats. That's one thing I was thinking, like, I could eventually put this all into a spreadsheet and do calculations. Will I ever? Probably not. That sounds like a lot of work. Okay, this is it. The storm is about to hit. We're getting another storm today, so hopefully I don't lose more shingles or have water damage. We'll see. We'll keep you updated on that as the year turns over in the next year, whatever. Thank you for being here, as always. Thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing and being amazing friends and wonderful people for this whole year and for the years prior and for everything. I hope you had a great 24. Let's ring in 25 together tomorrow. I'll see you then. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We are learning 10 actions that always bring happiness on number 5. Find the balance that allows you to be who you truly are. Sometimes you have to step outside of the person you've been and remember the person you were meant to be, the person you're capable of being, and the person you truly are. That, I think, is my 2024 in a nutshell.